Okay, guys, don't ask me what I'm doing behind a bag of chips. I'm trying to hide from some neighborhood kids while I make this video. Um, so I want to talk about another dream that I had, and this one was also apocalyptic. Um, it was really cool because even though the dream should have been gory and scary, I think God knew that I'm not the type of person who can take gore very well and mayhem and chaos and death very well. But it involved death. Um, I was in a major city. It looked like something like New York City. And you know that scene in Planet of the Apes? But not the new one, like the old version with um, Charlton Heston. Um, and you see, like, towards the end, you see, like, the Statue of Liberty, like, halfway buried, and you just see a desolate, just barren city, w- deserted. So this was the backdrop of this dream, and it was deserted, and I just remember being led by this guy, but in hindsight, I think he was an angel. He was kind of leading the way, walking in front of me through this city, this deserted, barren city. And as I was walking through the city, I can see people littered all over the city, like in weird places, like on sidewalks, on benches, like on top of cars, like just strewn everywhere. Like, okay, the best way I can describe it is they look like Cabbage Patch dolls, if that makes sense. They didn't look human. They looked all bloaty, and they had, it was really weird how God made this. It was really weird. They had on their bodies, they had like mold on them. I don't know how to describe it. So it looked like the people, um, they some of them were dead, some of them were just like lifeless, but some of them were like squirming and they like barely had any life in them, and they're just like kind of like moving around. And but I could see that some of them had started to decompose. But it didn't look like, like those crime shows where you see like blood and guts everywhere and like flies because it smells. It didn't smell at all. I mean, maybe I couldn't smell during the dream, but anyways, it just didn't smell at all. But the people look like rotten vegetables. So instead of like blood and gore, they just look like they had expired, like they had to go to compost or something. And so there were like these nicks and bruises and divots on their bodies, but instead of me seeing like pieces of skin or gore, I would see like mold or like moss or like some kind of like growth on them, and they just looked like they were in bad condition. But because they look like dolls, and because they look like, oh sorry, you can, because they look like dolls, they it didn't scare me. But I think the main premise of this dream was that there was a major disaster in the city, and there was a lot of people that had died during this event. And for the people to look moldy and for the people to look like this, it had to have been noodles. It had to have been, hold on. Oh, great. Okay, it had to have been like a water event. A water event, I'm thinking. I don't know. All I know is that they look like they look like Cabbage Patch Kids, and they look like rotten vegetables. I think God was trying to shield my eyes from like the scariness of it, you know. So I can't even watch scary movies. But anyways, so disaster happening in a major city with a lot of people dying. That's pretty much my dream. All right, thanks a lot. Bye. I hope you get to know Jesus, for those of you who don't know him yet. Okay. In Jesus' name, amen.